Welcome to the launch of InsTech.ie. Along with my fellow co-founders, I am delighted that over 200 of you are joining us this lunchtime. So we've been on quite a journey, and today we officially launch. And we have a packed 45 minutes today, including the launch by Minister Sean Fleming of InsTech.ie. Kent Mackenzie from Deloitte will join us to discuss the InsurTech opportunity in Ireland. We will announce our founder members. Then Gerry Hassett will introduce us to a great panel discussion. We will meet Ireland's newest InsurTech, Companjon, and we'll talk about what happens next with InsurTech.ie. But first, let's take a look at how we got to where we are today.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Moya Murdoch, Chief Executive of Insurance Ireland and one of the co-founders of InsTech.ie. I'm delighted to welcome you all today, and I'm also very pleased to be able to introduce Minister of State Sean Fleming, Minister at the Department of Finance with special responsibility for financial services, credit unions and insurance. And also very importantly, Minister Fleming has also established an office within the Department of Finance to promote competition within the insurance market. So it's very apt to have him here today. So thank you, and over to you, Minister Fleming.
Thank you indeed, Maya, for that kind introduction, and I appreciate everyone joining in on this discussion today, which is very important and such a lovely day. So we might all get outside again in the afternoon. So first of all, I would like to thank Insurance Ireland for the opportunity to speak today at the launch of this InsTech.ie. This exciting development represents an innovative cross-industry information hub focused on the application of technology in the insurance sector. The irony of all of us meeting via online platform at an event highlights the power of technology is not lost on me. It is technology and the ability to meet virtually has allowed many types of businesses, including the work of government, to continue despite the pandemic. Equally, I can see that technology has enormous potential to drive innovation in the insurance and wider financial services sector. The advent of InsurTech and its application to the insurance market here in Ireland is something that I've kept abreast of as part of my brief as Minister of State with responsibility for financial services, credit unions and insurance. In recent weeks, I've met with representatives from the InsurTech sector and have been impressed by the scope and the developments in this area. It has become clear to me that Ireland is well placed to be a leading player in InsurTech, and we're already home to such tech giants such as Google, Amazon, Apple and Facebook. At the same time, most of the top global insurers have a presence in Ireland, and we also have a highly skilled and educated workforce. I also feel we are uniquely positioned to act as a base for either European Union or markets further afield. InsurTech also provides the context in which Irish startup companies can develop. That is why initiatives such as this, as well as the InsurTech Ireland and the National InsurTech Hub, Carlo IT, are so important for the future development of the sector. It also offers a platform through which startups can connect with larger insurance companies and therefore grow their businesses. It is my hope that the close relationships that are emerging between distinct startups on a domestic basis here in Ireland and the major insurance providers already in the market through the medium of InsurTech can grow and develop into successful partnerships that will benefit all stakeholders in the insurance sector and ultimately the paying customer and the policyholder. One of the most striking aspects of InsurTech is its potential to make a real impact on Irish consumers by streamlining behind the scenes operations, finding process efficiencies and offering innovative new products, InsurTech can provide Irish customer better value for money and broaden the range of products that are available. At the same time, I recognise that the increased focus on technology, and in particular on data analytics and telematics, can also bring with it challenges around ethical use of data and potential issues with personal risks profiles. The latter issue has the possibility of restricting insurance cover to some customers, which is clearly something that needs to be closely considered by policymakers and the industry as this area develops. So as Minister for State, the potential for InsurTech and the Irish insurance market is something I am very interested in. As you know, a deeper, more stable and more competitive insurance market is a priority for this government. To that end, Action Plan for Insurance Reform, published in December last, sets 66 actions designed to deliver on the commitments laid out in the programme for government, all aimed at bringing down the costs of insurance for drivers, homeowners, businesses and community groups. And I'll take the opportunity to acknowledge the report published by the Central Bank in the last hour, where they have highlighted that there is a liability penalty in operation in the private car market and in the house insurance market, and they are moving swiftly with a public consultation starting on this today to actually outlaw this, and that will happen early next year. So I'm very pleased with that approach by the Central Bank today. Such is our ambition to drive the reform agenda that 95% of those actions are front-loaded. That's from the Action Plan for Insurance for completion before the end of 2021. And I'm informed and pleased to say here today that tremendous progress is being made in that area. The new personal injuries guidelines introduced in April considerably reduced the personal injury awards in both PIAB and the court system. Early indications suggest that awards in PIAB have reduced by 50%, and I will be meeting with the chief executive officers of the major insurance companies in the autumn to impress on them the necessity to pass on savings from these lower awards in the shape of reduced premium for customers. I would also say at this point, based on my earlier round of the meeting, some have indicated they will move on this in a stage basis immediately at this stage, and they won't wait for a large volume of cases to come through PIAB. They see the new guidelines in practice, and some of them are willing to move on it straight away, which is very good news. Another achievement is the establishment of the Office to Promote Competition in the Insurance Market in the Department of Finance. This office, which I chair, engages closely with stakeholders across the insurance sector to identify and then address issues which exist in the market. As part of this, the office has been working closely with the Central Bank and the IDA to develop initiatives which will help facilitate new entrants to the Irish insurance sector. As part of this work, the department, through its Ireland for Finance unit with the Central Bank, is considering how InsurTech and open insurance can facilitate competition in the market. This will also take account of developments at EU level, including the EU's digital strategy. There's a very interesting lineup of speakers coming up, so I would like to conclude by wishing you all well in the period ahead in this event here in the next hour, and hopefully our next occasion we can all actually meet in person when it's safe to do so. So thank you.
Hi, thank you, Minister. Very interesting. Really appreciate you coming along today. Hi, my name is Gerry Hassett and I'm a co-founder of InsTech.ie. In January of this year, we engaged with Kent Mackenzie, partner and global fintech lead for Deloitte, to do a feasibility study on the possibility of an InsurTech hub in Ireland. Let's hear from Kent about how he got on.
Gerry, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute delight and pleasure to be talking this afternoon. Just a quick introduction. So as Gerry mentioned, I lead our FinTech and RegTech practice in Deloitte. Over the last 7 years, I've had the pleasure of working with ecosystems and communities around the world to build tech hubs and centres of excellence and set out strategies that can really accelerate the development of those hubs. I was delighted to be asked to come and have a look at the opportunity that exists here. For two reasons. First of all, the absolute abundance of capability and an ecosystem that exists. And secondly, because what a wonderful part of the world you all live and operate in. My accent gives me away, so second only to Scotland, do I love your neck of the woods, and I just think there is a fantastic opportunity to really scale and grow what you do. So let me spend just a few minutes just talking to you about the work that we did. I've got 2 slides, so I promise you I won't take too much of your time or drain too much detail, but just to give you a snapshot of what we did. So if I could just flick onto my first slide, please. So no doubt a significant opportunity within the ecosystem in which you operate. A few of the stats up there just start to, I guess, outline that. Significant number of ecosystem stakeholders across the community, ranging from some wonderful founders and some wonderful businesses that are doing amazing things, through to the academics, through to the established organizations, insurance organizations that exist, and also some of the funding communities and not least the government support that exists. So you have all the hallmarks here to be truly successful in what you do. There are a number of firms that already exist that are doing wonderful things that we'll hear from through today, and a number of you that are on the call already. And of course, some of the big tech companies that the Minister referred to there are already, helping support a really thriving skill set and skill base within the community. So the scene is set for you to really scale and to scale well here. The ask of me and my team when we came in was to essentially help not just map and consider that community, but set down a strategy and set down a roadmap that would see the acceleration of that work. So in March of this year, we embarked upon a 6-week piece of work that we had proven and used in other parts of the world to go out and do that, and to set out for you an ambition and a roadmap that could come to life. We essentially set up 3 work streams of activity over those 6 weeks. So first of all, in our first work stream, we wanted to make sure we really engaged all of the different communities, voices that were around this ecosystem. We talked to well over 100 people during the course of that work, many of you on this call today, just to really get a sense on what opportunity lies ahead and to refine the vision for InsurTech Ireland. We then set about defining a very clear roadmap of activities. So it's all very well having a vision and having an ambition and some energy, but you've got to have some pretty clearly defined activities to drive that forward. So then I'll talk a little bit about this in just a second, but we set about defining that roadmap. And the third thing that we've learned this over time, having the right governance and funding model to really support the endeavour is really, really critical. So we spent time defining what that should look like and what the options were around that. Really intensive piece of work, deliberately so. This is not about taking weeks and weeks and weeks to pontificate over something and allow the opportunity to pass. We did it intensely over the 6 weeks. We have identified over 500 stakeholders across the community, engaged with well over 100 of them through interviews, workshops, one-to-one surveys, so on and so forth, to really ground our recommendations in fact and from the voice of those that exist in the community. So let me just tell you about the outcome. If I could just flick to my second slide, please, and I will do this quickly. But we have effectively set out a number of things here. So a shared vision, and this vision isn't something that we dreamt up in Deloitte Towers. This is a vision that's been set by the community that was engaged during this process. So I hope you will agree provides a really meaningful set of ambitions to go after. We then set out 6 strategic objectives that this community should focus on and should go ahead and deliver. Under each of those 6 very specific actions, which the community now will take forward. And there's half a dozen of them, just really key actions specified here. I'll not run through all of these in the interest of time, but I want to give you confidence that what you are now left with is a very clean and clear view of how now to go ahead and accelerate the growth of this wonderful ecosystem. So I will stop there. Some of this may come out a bit more in the panel discussion, and of course, when we do this with ecosystems around the world, this is a partnership and this is a commitment that sees us carry on the narrative and the dialogue with you. So yes, an intense 6 weeks, but the start of a journey that I would be absolutely honoured to carry on with you. So we're not going far, and we're always a friend. So very happy to talk to you in any more detail with members of the community that would like to. Gerry, I'll hand back to you if that's okay.
Thank you, Kent. Thank you for that. It was very important to us to get an outside-in perspective on Ireland. I should say that we're launching the Deloitte report on the InsTech.ie website this afternoon. So if you want to find out more about what they said, please log on there and you can download it there. So I think it's time we heard from our founder members. So let's hear what they think about InsTech.ie.
Hi, I'm Ben Deans, Price and Underwriting Director, part of the working group alongside Gerry and the team. From a personal perspective, I'm involved in this initiative from the start. I'm very excited that today we launch InsTech.ie. I'm sure and convinced that this initiative will be a great success for our industry. From an AXA perspective, we are proud to be founder members and be able to support this initiative and are committed to developing partnerships with InsurTechs going forward. With that, let me introduce our other founder members.
At the AA Ireland, we're extremely proud to be one of the founding members of InsTech.ie. We're looking forward to driving the creation of a partner ecosystem in the InsurTech space. Very, very excited to be working with various stakeholders across government, industry, the education sector and the startup space and technology here in Ireland.
ALD Automotive has long been associated with innovation in the car leasing industry. As a reinsurance company based in Ireland, we strongly believe that with our educational system, our dynamic talent base and our vibrant international reinsurance sector, Ireland should be at the forefront of innovation in the insurance industry. We are proud to be founding members of InsTech.ie. We look forward to collaborating, sharing, experimenting and developing with the intent of evidencing that Ireland has arrived on the InsurTech map.
We're delighted to be founder members of InsTech, and it really is a super opportunity for us to join forces with other member companies and partners in the ecosystem to innovate through technology and customer-centred practices to really help shape the future of the insurance industry in Ireland.
Greenlight Re Innovations invests in and partners with early stage InsurTechs. To date, we've made 17 investments in InsurTechs in the US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa and Hong Kong. My hope for InsTech.ie is that we can develop the Irish InsurTech ecosystem so that in the future, Greenlight Re can find a world-class Irish InsurTech to invest in.
I'm delighted to be here today to be part of the InsTech.ie InsurTech launch. There are some really great opportunities ahead in growth and innovation in the insurance market in Ireland, and it's wonderful to be part of that with our new platform, InsTech.ie. I hope you enjoy the rest of today's event.
Hi, I'm Susan Gibson from Irish Life, and we're delighted to become founding members of InsTech.ie. We see a huge opportunity for our sector to become more involved in the InsurTech ecosystem. And for Irish Life's part, we've had lots of experience of engaging and connecting with InsurTechs from overseas and would love through this opportunity to connect with InsurTechs closer to home.
Hi there, Donald Clancy from Leia Healthcare here. I've been asked to outline why we're interested in InsurTech. Well, let's start from a core value we have as innovation. And throughout our journey in the strategy over the years, we've concentrated on the customer experience. You put technology together with insurance, and I think you get innovation, and that's what we're hoping to get from InsurTech.
The reason we're backing InsTech.ie is to support digital innovation in Ireland, to improve the technology and digital experience for customers in Ireland. We hope this initiative will provide an opportunity to develop and support emerging talent, to hear new ideas, and to shape the direction of digital innovation and development in the insurance sector in Ireland.
SCOR is backing InsTech.ie because we believe that growth for SCOR and our clients will be driven by technological innovations. SCOR is a global reach, and through our Dublin presence we will bring that to InsTech.ie, and in return we look forward to the learning and innovation opportunities it will offer.
Unum is a Fortune 250 US insurer that has built a substantial technology hub in Carlow of nearly 200 people. We want access to the the best ideas out there and the challenger ideas. We have the opportunity to test ideas in the real and hope to bring a lot of passion and insight in terms of what the actual industry challenges are from our customers' perspectives.
We're really pleased to be supporting InsTech.ie. You know, what's not to like? It's a win-win. Really excellent sectors that we've had through the decades now within technology, within financial services, insurance in particular, and that whole idea of just combining them, you know, the cross-pollination, it has the propensity to be something really great, and we're really pleased at William Pride to be involved day one.
Hi, so about 12 months ago, I joined a group of like-minded individuals to explore the idea of setting up an Irish InsurTech hub. I'd like to thank Ben Deans, Susan Gibson, Alan Holmes, Moya Murdoch, Pat O'Brien and Ajay Pathak for all of their hard work to get us where we are today. As you've heard Ken say, Deloitte said that Ireland had all of the ingredients to host an international InsurTech hub, but the question remained as to whether the market players were willing to commit. That's why in the last couple of months, we decided to do a soft launch. And as you've seen on the video, we've been blown away by the support we received from the CEOs of our founder members who have agreed to fund InsTech.ie for 2 years, for an initial 2-year period. So I'd like to thank AA Ireland, Aldri, Allianz, AXA, Greenlight Re, Insurance Ireland, Irish Life, Leia Healthcare, New Ireland Assurance, SCORE, Unum and William Fry. And as founder members, they will work with us to shape our future vision. So if I could go on to the next slide. And maybe the one after that would be great, thank you. We've also received, you know, strong support from other sectors. I'd like to acknowledge the pioneering work done by the likes of Jerry DeVere and Stan Nazarenko in InsurTech Ireland, and we look forward to working with them. We've also engaged with founders of startups in the market who've really helped us understand the challenges that they face in really getting their businesses off the ground. I'd like to acknowledge the likes of Dave Kindlen of Epion, Chris Lee from Exanti, James O'Toole from ID PAL, Martin Brown from Unitech, and Michael Flanagan from Extract. We've learned a lot from your experiences and we look forward to working with you. We've also seen great support from our colleagues, the government stakeholders. The Department of Finance has just set up its own fintech unit. We look forward to working with the likes of May Santa Maria and all of the team there. We've received tremendous support from Billy Hanley and Enda MacDonald in Enterprise Ireland, and Andrew Noonan and Jackie O'Dowd in the IDA. And we've also been really encouraged by the opportunities opening up, in particular to make insurance more relevant to younger talent. And the likes of Aidan Mann and the InsurTech Centre in IT Carlow and JB McCarthy from the Innovation Centre in the Business School in UCC have been really helpful in explaining to us the opportunities that exist. So we look forward to working with them. The insurance sector in Ireland already makes a strong contribution to our economy. We pay out 13 billion in claims every year. We manage about 112 billion of long-term assets on behalf of our Irish workers. We're also the 6th largest insurance market in Europe with strong cross-border activity. However, even industry insiders agree that the sector is lagging behind our international peers when it comes to innovation. So hopefully we can inject some energy and growth by bringing all of the stakeholders together into a single ecosystem. We want to develop an innovation platform that facilitates connections to members, that curates a database of local and international startups, that pairs insurance firms with curated startups for pilots and POCs, that accesses global best practice through collaborative partnerships and events, that collaborates with policymakers on innovation and promotes Ireland as an EU InsurTech hub. And finally, we want to work with colleges to attract talent and build the skills for the future. So no wonder we're excited. Today is a very special day for us. And with that, I'd now like to introduce our panel discussion. So joining Kent on the panel are Pat O'Brien and Susan Gibson, who are both co-founders of InsTech.ie. So there we go. So you're all very welcome. I'm going to actually throw the first question over to Pat. In fact, you run Greenlight Re here in Ireland, and you're also responsible for an investment portfolio that includes 17 InsurTechs internationally. Can you explain how that works and what you see as the key trends for InsurTech right now?
Yeah, thanks, Gerry. Nice to be here today. So as I mentioned in the video clip earlier, Greenlight Re has an innovation division which we established back in 2018. And we partner with early stage InsurTechs. And I guess we have quite a broad remit. We've invested in technology providers, claim service providers, and MGAs. And we aim to support these early stage InsurTechs with expertise, reinsurance capacity, and of course investment. Generally, we invest somewhere between $500,000 and $1.5 million. And we've made 17 investments to date. So over the last couple of years, we've spoken to over 1,000 startups, and I think that gives us a good insight into some of the key trends that are happening in the InsurTech world. So the first thing maybe I'd highlight is there's naturally an increased focus on digitalization post the pandemic. So the last 12 months has changed a lot. We're seeing significant demand for add-on products for embedded insurance. And I'm going to talk to Companjon a little bit later on, who are in that space. We see a lot of interest in usage-based insurance. And again, I guess the pandemic has maybe highlighted that, the best example being in the motor space. So we would have had a lot of people last year with their cars parked up for months on end because of restrictions, and a usage-based product, I guess, would have been quite attractive to them. Usage-based products are also have applicability in the commercial space too. We see a lot of interest in the Internet of Things, and in particular in the home sector, and we're also seeing that in the commercial sector in areas such as cargo. And finally, I guess cybersecurity. We're all aware of the increase in ransomware attacks and some of the issues with HSE and so on over the last couple of months. So there's a lot of InsurTechs out there who are trying to bring risk management solutions to deal with the cybersecurity issues.
Thanks, Pat. Susan, you are the Chief Digital and Innovation Officer with Irish Life. You set up your EXO Innovation Hub about 3 years ago. What have you been doing and what have you learned in that time?
Hi, Gerry. Like Pat, nice to be here. So I guess similar to the founding members that are here today, innovation has been a core pillar for Irish Life, gone back over many years. And I say more recently, in recent years, we've been seeing the impact that new technologies are having on consumer behavior. We see that wave of digital businesses, digital platforms who are just resetting expectations, and all of our digital experiences are being judged by the standards of the best. So we want to continuously improve people's experience with us. We want to be able to win the right to look after them. And then we also want to increase our agility and speed to market. And it's that context of why we set up the EXO Hub about 3 years ago. And really its aim is to embrace the advances in technology and to experiment with new business models, propositions and digital experiences that serve those customers' needs. We do that over kind of the 3 horizons of innovation, and then we rapidly experiment using design thinking and build, test, learn principles. I guess what's relevant for InsTech.ie today is about, we see a real value in connecting with InsurTechs. We've had experience over the last number of years and learned a whole lot from those that we've engaged with, because these startups are thinking about the same consumers that we are, and some of them have really smart ways of how they're thinking and how they're coming at it with their technologies. And our experience has been really positive. So one of the most recent ones has been around where we looked at a pretty basic issue where we're looking at claims and we have somebody individually reviewing those claims. We're saying technology now is advanced such that there's, intelligent document processing technologies that review claims, validate them and move them through to payment. So that's a really easy one at a level. It took us a couple of weeks to do the pilot and now we've gone to production on it. So loads of learnings for us across those 3 horizons, and we continue to learn in terms of how we help customers and how we might help them build better futures.
So Kent, you've been actively involved in FinTech Scotland for several years. Has that been successful, and what were the key factors behind that?
Thanks, Gerry. Yeah, we've been involved with FinTech Scotland since 2016 now, goodness me, 5 years. Incredibly successful. I mean, there's the various stats that come out around the scale of FinTech innovation that's grown as a result of there being a sort of convening body. And also, I think what's been really quite notable is the presence that Scotland now has on the global stage. In Scotland, we major around RegTech, we major around data, which has been one of the hallmarks that have been successful is, really zeroing in on where we think we should play rather than trying to be all things to all people. That's one of the bits of advice that I would give. Be focused and deliberate in your endeavor. One of the other things, or a couple of the other things that have been really key to the success is that absolute focus on collaboration, and this principle that a rising tide can raise all ships. This only works if everybody works together and is respectful and understanding and empathetic to hopes, needs, dreams, wishes of the individuals in this group. So that is a key hallmark. And to be honest, these types of characteristics and hallmarks are consistent wherever I've gone in the world. I guess one final point before I pause: having a supportive government and a supporting sort of network across the public sector is really, really critical to this as well. Once you have all these things in place, it's pretty phenomenal what one can achieve. So yeah, I was with Nicola Anderson, the CEO, on Monday actually, and we were chatting about the next stage and the next evolution. So yeah, it's a wonderful journey to be part of.
Yeah, I think one of the advantages of a small country is if you can get joined up and get everybody on the same page, it can make a massive difference. So guys, we're a little bit tight for time, but we'll try another round of questions. So Pat, one of our goals is to attract international InsurTechs to Ireland. Like, how can we do this? What do we need to do to make it happen?
Yeah, I think both Kent and the Minister referred to the success Ireland has had in attracting foreign direct investment, and we've been very successful in both the tech and the insurance space. There's no reason why we can't replicate that in the InsurTech piece. I think the first piece is to demonstrate that we have a joined up InsurTech ecosystem and we're taking it seriously. And I guess first to do that, I guess we need to get all parties in that ecosystem involved. So that's the industry. And I guess the industry, we have our initial members signed up. We hope to get more members over time. And I guess we need the industry to participate, as Susan said, in pilots and different things, and to be active involved. We need the government involved. Kent referred to that a minute ago. And I guess the fact we have the Minister here today is a good sign. And we've had initial conversations with the Department of Finance and so on. I think specifically looking at foreign direct investment, we need to have the IDA involved, and they're key. And obviously, we want to get the central bank involved too. So I think InsurTech.ie can be the catalyst to bring all that together. If we look at the IT sector, the key thing probably was attracting one of the larger players in initially, so Google or Facebook, and then there was a knock-on impact where lots of other people followed. So we can get those first one or two US or UK InsurTechs into Ireland, attack the EU market. I think we can build from there.
Thank you, Pat. That's some great advice there. Kent, you've been involved in the launch of many fintech hubs. So, what advice do you have for InsTech.ie today?
So, probably touching on a couple of things, Arthur. Be very clear and deliberate in your mission and the actions. Be metric oriented as well. I work with many ecosystems who say it's hard to, put the defining metrics of success down, but you should do so. I know we did a lot of this in the report as well, Gerry. Focus on some targets that are meaningful. They're quite difficult to sometimes land on when you first start on this, but when you start to set a target around something, you invariably tend to hit it or come pretty close. So get that nailed down. And then again, just reflecting on the point about community, make sure you have a wonderful sort of founding membership here, seen and heard on that front today, but make sure that those founding members and the sort of concentric circles around them meet regularly, talk, update this narrative, hold yourselves to account on this. I think it's things like that make this successful. I think, where it drifts is where great ideas are formed, but people go off and, do their own thing. So just keep the cohort tight and clear here, and allow yourselves to be metric oriented, and you will succeed, I have no doubt.
That's brilliant. Thank you for that. So Susan, last question to you. So Irish Life has been engaged on its digital journey for a while. What advice would you have for firms who are just starting out on the journey?
So I guess every day is a school day. We learn all the time, so we're never not learning, I guess, I'd start with. But what really helped us was we connected externally with as many people as we could to absorb and immerse ourselves. And Kent spoke about the collaboration that needs to happen. I was probably shocked from previous roles about how much people are willing to share, and that's great, because I think that's really important, and that's what InsTech will bring here. We had really strong exec sponsorship. That really helps. We had a separate budget. That really helps. You're not, reliant on getting an in-year return. I think we need to be clear about defining problem statements and then connecting in with InsurTechs. and helping them internally to move quickly. These people are burning through cash. They don't have time to wait for us to line up all our different procurement and etc. departments as such. So they need us to help with that, and then just get on with it at a level.
Sounds like great advice. So listen, I'd love to spend more time, but I'd like to thank Kent, Susan and Pat. And earlier this week, we sent Pat off to meet with Ireland's first digitally native insurer. So let's see how he got on. Thank you.
Thanks, Gerry. I'm delighted to welcome Matthias Naumann from Companjon to join us today. So Companjon are a new InsurTech established in Dublin, and I think they're a great firm to be able to promote at this launch of InsTech.ie. So we'll talk a little bit about your business, Matthias, and various things as we go through it. But maybe just to start, it's always nice to hear a little bit about your background. So do you want to maybe talk a little bit about your background and how you got into insurance?
I had the pleasure to work in financial services, meaning banking and insurance, for basically my entire professional career. I worked with BCG for more than roughly 23 years in various shapes or forms, and there mainly in banking and insurance. I had the opportunity to lead some of the digitization efforts on digital ventures, in working at the forefront of quite some, I would say, transformational investments of large leading clients, which gave me quite some insights on how also the insurance space ticks and works. So, and I finally ended up here.
So based on that experience, you've decided to set up Companjon. Do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about Companjon and what you're trying to do?
Yeah, sure. So I would say the idea of setting up Companjon is probably 5 years old. Once we visited a very interesting startup in Asia, actually China, where we realized how technology actually can change the experience of an end customer when you talk about insurance. Meaning when you actually have a parametric setup that automatically, triggers you when something happens, that automatically informs you when you have to write to get something, etc. Which we thought those days actually should be a great idea to bring over to Europe and probably replicate a little bit with some adjustments, a very successful business model in Southeast Asia. So that's how I would say the idea of setting up Companjon came across. And obviously, as you know, these things take time, and you need the right opportunity, the right setup, and all of a sudden, you approach people, and here we are.
So you talked there about parametric products, Matthias, and the growth there. So do you maybe want to talk a little bit about what type of products you're going to offer and maybe how they fit into that overall growth in parametric products?
Yeah, sure. So I guess what we do is we offer, I would say, bespoke parametric solutions or insurance solutions as add-on services that support the lifestyle of the modern customer. Meaning we are fully end-to-end digitized. We are fully straight through and automatically triggered also in case something should happen to one of our customers. We offer a unique new experience for the end customer, and we also fueling, I would say, the ecosystems of all the business partners we're working with. So which puts the whole insurance notion into a completely different setup of being actually a very inspiring thing to have.
And to maybe for people who aren't so familiar with parametric products, to talk about the breadth of different products that could fall under the parametric trigger. So what type of products do you think are best fitted for that type of trigger?
Actually, parametric basically means you define upfront what you get at the end, or you basically slice the different sets in the value chain according to certain triggers and setups. So you basically can, most of the, I would say, P&C products for which are not corporate products, into that category. So that leaves you quite a big space of what you technically could do. Obviously, it gets a little bit more and more complex. We're starting with, I would say, most InsurTechs do with add-on insurances, which are very, very simple, and that allows us to implement it very, very quickly. Also to kind of offer that to quite a big community of people and business partners, and to roll out fast and to scale up fast.
So you set up a company over the last sort of 12 or 18 months through a difficult time with COVID and global pandemic and so on. But I guess the pandemic has also resulted in some changes in consumer behavior and maybe the embracing of digital at a faster pace. So how do you see that trend, and what opportunities that present for you going into the future?
Probably two sets of the questions. So if you would have asked me, we would have set this up a year ago, and which would have been a different setup. We basically set this up right before the pandemic started in Europe. We got the full funding beginning of March, and mid-March we went straight into the pandemic. Then you start like, is this probably it's all about timing either way. You could say we were lucky or not. Obviously it helped us a lot in terms of how do you rethink the business, because we had to do a lot of things differently right from the beginning. So I would say we are digitally native and fully agile on the way, which helps a lot in our setting. What you also see on the end customers end is, especially in the space we are in at the moment, is that the increase of a certain security on one hand, or a certain flexibility when it comes to travel, when it comes to lifestyle setup, is significantly increasing. You might be aware we have done 2 customer surveys over the last 9 months. We're just doing a third one, which actually proves that quite a bit, because we are quite insecure now in how the future is going to look like in the next 3 to 6 to 12 months. And that also increases the awareness for a certain, I would call it, lifestyle cover people are really looking for.
So you talked about Companjon was a digitally native company, and you obviously spent a fair bit of time at BCG. So if you look at the digital infrastructure of your competitors out there, of the traditional players, how would you rate the industry's digital approach?
As we are, as Companjon, we actually have our own underwriting skills. So we actually are a fully licensed insurance company with a risk carrier on one hand, and on the other hand, have a distribution arm which allows us to distribute these products across Europe. So from that space, we actually have 2 sets of competitors. One is I would say the classical InsurTech 1.0s, which basically distribute existing products. Where I would say it's a growing market and they're doing quite well on the distribution side, while the products they're offering are still kind of the classic traditional ones, which I would say a tech advanced front end. You basically can switch it on and off when you buy it. Travel insurance is a classic one, or your phone insurance and crashes, etc. On the other hand, you have the incumbents. These are all the big names you all are well aware of, and they talk about a lot on how the digital age has kind of transformed the business. If I look in the space we are at, they're still using, I would say, traditional products and have, I would say, made some adjustments on the front end again to make sure they can see and kind of elaborate the space on one end, while the entire claims process, for instance, is exactly the same and hasn't changed. So I would say in our space there have been movements. They probably haven't been as quick or as radical or as disruptive as I would have loved to see it. For us, it's good. So there's a lot of space for us to move quickly and to move fast.
So you decided to base Companjon in Ireland. So we're delighted to have you here. Do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about why you decided to base yourselves here?
I guess Ireland has a couple of really fundamental setups that allows us to be successful. So first of all, it's you speak English in Ireland, which gives us an international company quite a well set up, because we need a country within the European Union to get access to the European Union at the end. And that gives us scale and access to 500 million potential customers. I guess it would also say Ireland has quite extensive and good talent pool, which allows us to kind of find the right talents, find the right people from a local base, but also from an international base. So we have, for instance, people today from the United States, from Switzerland, from Europe, from South America, etc. So that allows us to have a quite diverse setup on all different kinds. And I would say the third key thing is Ireland has a very well regarded and reputed regulator these days, which is essential for a business like us, operating a fully regulated business, to go into other countries through passporting, such as Germany, such as France or Spain, just to name a few, which gives us also I would say, the right credibility doing that business. And overall, on a personal side, I guess I had the chance to visit and to come to Ireland, obviously, quite a few times now, and it's a very nice country, and people are very open and helpful in supporting us and helping us bring this business to success. That's actually quite nice as well.
Okay, Matthias, if we look to the future now, maybe if you were to chat again in 3 years' time, what would you like to have achieved with Companjon? What does success look like?
Well, obviously, in the tech space, 3 years is quite a long period, but obviously our vision is to be the leading InsurTech 2.0 provider across Europe. Success means for us, we probably working with the largest platforms in the space out of Europe and follow their clients wherever they are, being it geographically, but also being it on their customer needs they support, out of the add-on space into that setup. So I guess that would be probably what we inspire to and what we work very hard to.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. It was great to talk to you, and may I take this opportunity to wish Companjon all the best for the future. We look forward to seeing your success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Highly appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Alan Holmes here again, and I'm joined now by Ben Deans and Susan Gibson from our co-founder group. And you're very welcome. I think I'm just waiting for Susan. Hi, Susan. So, Susan, we might just talk a little bit about what happens next.
Alan, I don't know if we're getting a bit of interference, but listen, very quickly, there's a lot of things we want to do over the next couple of months, 4 key ones. We want to recruit a full-time CEO, so and that process has already started, but we do want to get that full-time CEO in place. We want to set up the company structure, so we're putting that and put the governance in place, and our founder member, William Fry, are helping us with that. And then the founding members themselves are coming together to agree, Kent spoke about those metrics for success, so what are our core KPIs and the key actions that we want to take. And lastly, we really want to be open up to new members, so we want to be as inclusive as we can as possible.
Great, Susan. And Ben, if I'm a potential new member and I'm interested in getting involved or finding out more, what do I need to do?
So 2 ways to get involved, Alan. Firstly, reach out to any of the co-founders directly, and we'll help you along the journey. And then secondly, visit the InStech.ie website, register on there, and one of us will come back to you ASAP.
Great stuff. I'd like to thank you very much, Ben and Susan. I'd like to thank also the over 300 people who joined us today for your attendance. I'd like to thank all of our speakers, our panelists. Thank you so much to Minister Fleming. Thank you to Matthias, to Kent, to all of my co-founders. I'd also like to thank Dara from Upload Media, and also a special thanks to Jennifer, Donal, and all the team at Deloitte who supported us today. I'd ask you all to follow InsTech.ie on social, check our website out, and get in touch. And we hope to be in touch and see you all very soon. Bye for now.